Hello and welcome to Fresh Face Comics, the comic book podcast where a lifelong comic book reader guides his friend through the world of comics for the first time. My name is Joey Morgan, the aforementioned lifelong reader. With me as always is Jacob Licklider, the aforementioned newbie.
There's nothing you can do to prevent the catharsis of spurious morality.
Jacob, you are a fucking mad bastard. Today we're talking the DC Comics event Final Crisis in our countdown to episode 100 on Fresh Face Comics. Here to join us to talk about Final Crisis by Grant Morrison is a returning guest, Kian.
I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards.
Is Grant Morrison a coward then?
No, there is. I think the text is very clear in this.
Really? I think
there's a lot of subtext here.
Morrison hides so much shit in here.
I don't think a lot of it is subtext, but then I've read this like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, that's fair. I suppose your familiarity with the story affects something like that. But yes, we are talking Final Crisis today. Let's kick off our non-spoiler section. Jacob, this is your first ever reading of Final Crisis. So what is Final Crisis about, if you dare to answer that question?
Okay. Here's the thing. I finished this last night, and I have been racking my brain with how I was going to respond to this. Final Crisis is an incredibly layered event that has been meticulously planned and plotted to fit, I'd argue, 9, maybe 10 issues, 10 issues, plus 2 extras of Batman, and on the surface level, it is a pretty simple story of good and evil, where evil has won and good takes back the universe. That is our surface level. Immediately below the surface, it is a massive fucking tribute to Jack Kirby, the mad bastard that he is. Jack Kirby's fourth world, all these crazy ideas.
The legend that is Dan Turpin.
The legend that is Dan Turpin. Mr. Miracle. Darkseid. Just Jack Kirby in general, which is difficult because I've read exactly one thing drawn by Jack Kirby, and it was a issue of Spider-Man.
Yes, yeah, that was a weird Fantastic Four crossover. It was a backup story. It was
a backup. It was a backup. Yeah. It's so we need to get some more Jack Kirby. I know. Underneath that, it's an examination of the larger DC universe post-Crisis on Infinite Earths and where everything has led up, exploring the ramifications of things, bringing things back, trying to push things forward, and even underneath that, it is a deconstruction of storytelling, why we tell stories, what stories mean, and how all these things fit together. It's a lot.
Did you have that written down? I feel like you had that.
No. This was off the dome. This was
pretty good. Dome. Pretty good. I like that.
See, my answer would have been something far more simple.
I would love to hear your answer, Kian. What do you think Final Crisis is about?
I get the vibe that Morrison is telling us they don't like Christo-fascism.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they like authoritarianism in general. I mean,
I think they're taking a lot of shots at evangelicalists.
Oh, especially like post 9/11 American evangelical.
Oh yeah,
which kind of prescient for the two Americans in the chat.
Yeah.
It's weird how history is just a circle.
Yeah,
and I hate to say it. No, you're going to make me bring up the George Lucas quote. It's like poetry. It rhymes. It's not a circle.
I love that everyone loves to meme on that, but Lucas is making an actual point when he says that.
George Lucas, like many artists who do insane things, sometimes the insanity isn't good, but there's at least a point.
The
insanity in this, fucking brilliant. Like, oh my god!
How would you compare this insanity to the insanity of Jar Jar Binks?
Oh, it beats Jar Jar within 2 pages. Like.
Okay.
I
love it. It is a hard story to talk about in general, but even harder, I'd say, in non-spoiler terms. So I really think we should probably just get into questions at this point, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Oh, I should say, actually, before we get any further, we're reading the essentially the new edition or the essential edition is what we're covering. The only thing we are probably not covering in detail in this episode are the 2 issues of Batman included. If you'd like to see Joey and my thoughts on that, one, they're both brilliant issues. Go to the episode on Batman R.I.P. That
episode
is
90 of Fresh Face Comics, which wasn't that long ago. Now that I think about it. So yeah, we covered it very recently, and yeah, we won't be bothering going over all of it again, but I'm sure we'll comment on it at least.
We'll comment on some things, yeah.
Yeah. But getting into questions, let's start off on Discord here. From it is the Graveyard System now, right?
Yes.
Okay, correct. For our friends at the Graveyard System, says I'm gonna send these here because I can't get into my Blue Sky. Work on that, I guess. This is from Jubilee. One thing I really enjoyed when reading this event was the inclusion of lesser known and obscure characters. While their appearances are typically rather minor in the book, did the book make any of y'all more interested in learning about those characters?
Oh, I'm gonna outright say yes, because unlike here's the thing: reading this immediately after Civil War. Oh, that's how you do an event with way too many characters. You actually characterize them and make them all have something. Like, they're something. There's something. They are distinct.
Indeed. Second question from Liliana says, spoiler question for Jacob, since I believe you haven't read Crisis Infinite Earths. Without that context, did the return of Barry Allen have any impact on you? I'm curious to hear your answer.
Here's the thing. I don't know Barry's death. I know a lot of the reactions to Barry's resurrection because of Jeff Johns' Green Lantern.
Oh, you don't know how Barry dies?
I know he like runs to death, I think. Like
yeah.
We need to do Crisis on Infinite Earths at some point.
We do.
This is and you've even got 2 different sets of added material for that if you want to watch it.
Here's the thing. If we do
pick your poison. Would you rather watch the CW adaptation or would you rather watch the animated film?
Oh, here's the thing. When we do it, we are going to be doing that animated trilogy as.
I would genuinely love for you to watch as well the CW version because it's fucking wild.
The CW version is probably better.
It is. It genuinely is. Like it adapts less. It adapts less of the actual story than the animated films do, but honestly, it just tells a better story.
No, they did kind of do the MCU thing of, well, we want to do this event, but we can't really do this event.
It's an event it's a thing that, oddly enough, like Final Crisis, you can't really adapt. Like
yeah.
Well, unless you want to do 10 movies.
Yeah. I mean, they did 3 for Infinite Earths, so. But the third and final question from Liliana again says, not a question, but Grant Morrison is a queer icon, and this is my favorite event comic. So my opinions of everyone are based on whether or not they enjoy this book.
I think we all liked it. We all liked it. It's very good. I don't think it's perfect. I think there's a big problem with the last issue. Mainly, we said, I don't know if this made it into X-rays, but I'm going to say it. The last issue, switching artists kind of doesn't mesh as nicely as what had come before in the event.
Fascinating.
Not to say, Doug Mank is like a bad artist. He's a great artist. He just, isn't J.G. Jones. So I kind of wish we got the universe where J.G. Jones finished out the event.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I like Doug Mank a lot, so I can't really complain. But moving over to Blue Sky then, first comes our first question. I can't speak today. It's been a long 24 hours for me. Question comes from our friend Jamie at Jamie-Season7 says, I think Jacob would quit if Joey tried that. Sorry. This is a reference to, forgot Kian, our guest Kian, quoted my post about the Q&A, saying, please spam them with questions. If we get enough, we can force Jacob to read All-Star Batman and Robin. To which Jamie replied, I think Jamie would quit if Joey tried that.
No, Jacob would quit if Joey tried that. You called.
Yes,
yeah.
Jacob,
you should read it. You'll love it. You'll love it.
Here's the thing. I'm totally going to have us read it someday. It's going to happen no matter what. So, but I've been put under very strict instructions to space out Bad Frank Miller.
Yes, we have to space
out
Bad
Frank episode 100.
Hey, to be fair, the last Bad Frank Miller we read was episode 30 of the podcast. We're well overdue. So,
God, here's the thing. Here's the scary part: is I don't know what is coming in the last 3 episodes leading up to 100. Like, I know they're all Batman, so they're all
Batman.
Surprise! You're going to be reading that.
I love it. Next question comes from our friend Rules Panda at Joey can read this. Says, did your head hurt like mine did?
God, a little bit. Mainly because it was a lot to take in.
Oh yeah.
And here's the thing. Because, we're bringing on a British guest, so we have to be mindful of time zones and getting schedules to line up. I had to read this in a week.
Yes. I really spaced out my rereading.
A week, which I was out of town for half the week. So
I kind of did it in 4 days.
Yeah, but you've read this before.
I know.
Multiple times.
So yeah, of course, your familiarity with the book does, of course.
It's not my fault you don't understand it. I'm a big brain who understands everything.
Yeah, Kian's a big brain, Jacob's a big dumb, and
never mind that I have a multi-layered analysis off the dome at the top of the episode.
Yeah, no, you're a big dumb.
Yeah, but next you're overcompensating.
Let's see. Rules Panda also says, and kicking off the bit, I suppose, Superman ? With a gif of Super Grover from
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street. Gotta love it. Love to see it. It's very.
I love that Rules Panda just keeps doing the Muppets.
Yeah, it's great. But over to the, I suppose, main bit. We have from Kian, our guest here, says, as always, Green Lantern ? A lot of question marks, with a picture of the pterodactyls from Doctor Who's The Visitation standing around a Green Lantern.
So glad this one actually worked for this, because you have not one but 3 Green Lanterns that are major players in this.
It's true. That works out. Yeah,
they are the 3 Green Lanterns.
No, you get 4.
Guy Gardner does show up. Carl, but there's 3 of them that actually have major roles.
As far as ones that are prominent, I would say.
Jordan, obviously, because it's 2000s DC, and then the other 2 are more surprising, I guess.
Yeah. Well, plus you have the Alpha Lantern, so there's that.
They're not Green Lanterns; they're Alpha Lanterns.
They're still Green Lanterns. Anyway, our friend Andrew at Andrew Doing Art says "Crisis of a Finale," with a screenshot from Doctor Who's The Reality War. The latest episode of Doctor Who, and very well might be the last episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Sack Russell T Davis, sack Julie Gardner, sack James Spencer, sack Phil Collinson. Can you do that for me?
Speaking of Chris Eccleston, our friend Jamie submits Final Crisis ? With a picture from Doctor Who's The Parting of the Ways, with the Ninth Doctor saying, "That's right, I sang a song and the Daleks ran away." Very funny. I do love that.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Yeah. Also, there was a reply to the pterodactyl picture. Andrew said, "Is it weird that I find the pterodactyls adorable? I don't know if I find them adorable. It's an interesting take, Andrew." Andrew also says, "Do you feel like Morrison's writing style fits a crossover event as well as it fits a standalone title?"
Kind of, it can work, but Morrison is better at standalone.
Yeah,
because I think there's just more to play with when you do standalone.
Yeah, Morrison can handle massive crossover events a lot better than
Morrison can handle it. It's just I prefer.
Here's the thing: I have seen the Final Crisis Omni. It's kind of thick.
It's a big boy.
It's a big boy.
I should have bought that.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of it not necessary.
Probably.
Yeah, that's every single event ever.
Yeah,
I can't think of a single event that isn't,
so thick.
Overstuffed.
Yeah.
Every so often I'll be in Forbidden Planet and they will have Dark Knight's Metal or what's the Batman one from the No Man's Land.
Oh yeah.
And it's just am I going to read all that?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, No Man's Land and No Man's Land, at least those 2 Omni don't have tie-ins. That's just the event because it's one of those things where it's.
Oh, what's the other one they've got? Or Batman and Robin Eternal, and I'm like, am I going to read all that?
I mean, Batman and Robin Eternal, first off, is peak. I do love it.
It's good. It's just do I need to read the entire thing?
Yeah.
Is it 52 issues?
No, it's 26. Batman Eternal was 52. Batman and Robin Eternal was 26. So Andrew also says, "Are you glad this is the final crisis? Surely there are no more after this. It's always nice when the title of an event is 100% correct and honest."
You know, I am kind of glad that DC literally took over a decade and a half to do a proper other crisis. Like,
yeah, and I gotta be real, I do like Dark Crisis. I really do.
Like the crisis where the entire DC universe becomes Black Adam because they really thought that film was gonna.
Are we sure that isn't an editorial thing? Because that doesn't sound like a Joshua Williamson.
I don't think it was Joshua Williams' choice.
It is so not a Joshua Williamson thing.
And then the art is even funnier because you can tell you can tell how well they were banking on it because they were even going for some synergy where there are a couple of like moments where the Rock is like Black Adam looks like the Rock.
Yeah.
There's literally just one where there's like talking to John Kent and he does the eyebrow. Or is he talking to Superman? He does the eyebrow.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
But yeah, like to sort of answer the question, this feels like an ending to like the Crisis idea. Like,
yeah, like Dark Crisis isn't quite the same kind of crisis. It is more like it is more a direct sequel to Infinite Earths, but it's not like continuing the idea of the crises that followed Infinite Earths.
It's also great because now that they've done Dark Crisis, we're finally going to get Secret Crisis.
Yo. My God.
So I need to explain what Secret Crisis is to Jacob.
Please? Yes.
In Doomsday Clock issue 12, when Dr. Manhattan rewrites the universe, there is a line about how in 2030, I want to say, in Secret Crisis, Superman fights the god Thor, and a green giant so strong will sacrifice himself to save Superman.
They're actually going to do that shit, and it's going to take Jeff Johns.
We might get that.
It's going to take Jeff Johns fucking 10 years to write it.
Yeah, because Doomsday Clock took like 4 years to write.
Yeah,
it became irrelevant.
Like, oh my God,
Joey, I need you to go on record. You like Doomsday Clock?
I don't mind it. It's fine.
It would have been fine if it was over in a year.
That's yeah. The release schedule definitely fucked it over. But like honestly, just reading it as a complete story, it's not bad. Honestly, our friend Jamie also says, "Why aren't you covering Countdown to Final Crisis first? It's so crucial and definitely written by Grant Morrison."
Who wrote Countdown?
Who did write Countdown? I don't even know.
Is Countdown the one where you get that really weird, well, not weird trio, that trio of Jason Todd, Kyle Rayner, and Donna Troy?
I have not bothered.
Is that a different one?
I have not bothered with the Countdown.
Is that Countdown's Final Crisis?
Who wrote this thing? Paul Dini? No.
There's no way. There's no way Paul Dini wrote 52 weekly issues.
It's also Jimmy Palmiotti, Sean McKeever, Tony Beddard, Adam Beechin, and Justin Gray. But like Paul Dini,
there are some good names in there. And
Palmiotti, it is like in that one of the issues it is. Well, I don't know how many issues it is, but yeah, you got a really weird, just really weird trio, I guess, of Donna Troy, Kyle Rayner, and Jason Todd.
Countdown is the one that was a weekly 52 issues, right? I'm pretty sure that's what I'm thinking.
It was the second one that was a weekly 52 issues.
Yeah, because they did the
52.
They did 52, which was leading up to Infinite Crisis.
52, which was partially written by Morrison. Like
it was Morrison and Johns, yeah. Crazy.
Whereas Countdown, I believe, was all editorial Didio man.
Yeah, the Mad Lad.
We don't speak the name Didio.
We do. He's my favorite Burger King. Jamie also says, so peak. All-Star Superman, Final Crisis, and early New 52 Action Comics being within a few years of each other must have been like crack for Superman fans.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially considering that and just honestly, Grant Morrison is on, I think, the top of their game in this period, possibly. I mean, it's hard to say because I haven't read a whole lot of their early stuff. Like, I do hope we eventually get to do their JLA run and their Doom Patrol run.
Yeah. I do at some point plan on reading their Flash run. The only problem is I'm pretty sure their Flash run is co-written.
Yeah, with Mark Millar.
Yeah. The thing is, DC haven't done an Omni for that yet, so I don't have to commit to it.
Oh, no, it's because it's not big enough for an Omni.
Good.
I think it's only big enough for a trade. Like,
good. I don't have the time for that. I haven't bought the second Mark Waid Omni yet. I'm a fake Mark Waid Flash fan.
Now, Kian, I saved this last question from you for last.
I need to explain it.
Yeah, I need you to explain it, and I want you to read it out loud.
So
read it out loud first. It's what?
Hang on. I was going to say it's literally just a lyric from a song.
What song?
Just Lose It by Eminem.
Okay, I don't know it. But please read it out loud. I need to know.
Hang on. I got to find it. I'm very unprepared.
You are very unprepared.
Hang on, well, I wasn't expecting to read it. Oh yeah, guess who's back with a brand new rap, and I don't mean rap as in new case of child molestation accuse. It's literally just a line from the song.
So I need to know what that has to do with Final Crisis.
Final Crisis,
nothing. Yeah. It's just me being back.
God damn it!
Oh,
okay, all right, sure.
I thought, what's a song lyric that has "Guess who's back" in it?
Here's the thing. I was like, wait. When I read that, I'm like, do I need to find a charity?
No.
Like, I don't think there are problematic people behind this book.
Yeah, hope. I suppose.
No, I just saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
You got to remember, my brain doesn't work the way normal people's brains work.
No, it really doesn't. It really doesn't. All that said, I think that does all of our questions for today in the non-spoiler section, and I think that's going to kick us off into spoilers. If you're not sticking around for spoilers, you already know what's coming up next time. We're doing Batman Battle for the Cowl, written and drawn by Tony S. Daniel. Going to be lots of fun.
We should say we are only covering the main event and the Gotham Gazette issues.
Yep.
It is currently in print in a complete collection, which will probably be what gets linked.
I'll probably link that. Yeah,
I think that's the only one you can get at the moment.
Yeah, I bought my copy of Battle for the Cowl a long time ago, so I still have the regular one that just has.
I bought mine a long time ago, and mine kind of got destroyed.
That's fair. But yeah, so that's what we're doing next time. If you're not sticking around, you can find links to all those books that we're going to cover today, and the one we're covering next time in the link in the description below, as well as link trees, socials. All of our socials and everything will be in the description as well. Follow us if you want to follow us. The Patreon. There's the Patreon. You can go to the Patreon where we do all kinds of fun things, including the conversation that happened before this podcast episode. You can go listen to the first 15 minutes of that. I think it was almost 20 minutes actually.
We don't have any correspondence for this one.
Oh god, we do. Thank you for reminding me, Jacob.
It's like
Fresh Face correspondence. I totally forgot about Fresh Face correspondence. Thank you, my friend.
You're gonna need a little jingle for that.
I do. Yeah, I do. I really do. All right.
Kian, this is partially why I'm here, to keep things running smoothly.
Jacob, you saw me. I was really drunk last night.
You were very drunk.
All right, here we go. All right, Fresh Face correspondence. These are all comments from our Spotify comments from our last episode on Civil War. First off, from Jamie. Jamie says, once again, the Jacob being far right is the best bit since Bloodlines. And then parentheses it says, release the Bloodlines DC Compact Edition, by the way. If you read Civil War 2, that would give Joey an excuse to cover a Tom Taylor comic. He writes a tie-in. This is all true. And I also have not read the main event Civil War 2. And I should probably do that, but I haven't.
Don't read Injustice or something. I don't know. You do more evil Superman.
I do. Oh, you know what? I do like when Tom Taylor's on Injustice. That's when it's really good. Once he leaves, it's not great.
I can't remember when he leaves.
Like halfway through year 3, I think. Which makes sense. But also from our friend Marcus, I think Secret Wars was happening at the time, if I remember correctly. Hence no Nick Fury. No, Secret Wars is an 80s event from Marvel.
No, they was setting up Secret Invasion, though.
They were setting up Secret Invasion. That might have been it.
Which is why Nick Fury isn't around, because he's underground.
Yeah,
it doesn't help that Marvel has at least 3 events called Secret Wars. Like,
yeah. But I mean, here's the thing: they give them numbers each time. It's Secret Wars 2 and 3. So,
oh, okay,
yeah.
What's the third one? Am I thinking of?
It's part of some kind of tie-in. I think it's a different title, but the title of the story within that other comic is called Secret Wars 3. So, but I can't think of what book it's in now. But then also, Rachel also explained her joke from last time that we just could not understand. It's Roman numerals, because Civil War. The word "civil" is made up of all Roman numerals.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, okay, there we go. And that's Fresh Face Correspondence. Anyway, back to my promotions, though. Go to our Patreon. You can get all kinds of fun things at the Lieutenant tier. You can get Fresh Face Extras. You can get Star Trek commentaries, which we just started doing not that long ago. And early Star Trek videos. You can get all our regular Star Trek videos a week in advance. And I think that about does it. So without further ado, let's try to do this.
Let's do this. Let's
crack it open. Structure. Come on.
Let's crack it open. DC Universe number 0, I suppose.
Or a couple of pages from DC Universe number.
Like the pages you need to read.
Yeah.
It is purely just a little bit of setup. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just establishing who Libra is and
Libra. That's all it is. And then
it's also setting up the idea that there was a war in heaven and evil won. Libra is a villain who wants balance. Also, apparently, an actual old Silver Age Justice League villain. Because
there probably are a lot of Silver Age callbacks in here.
So many.
Yes. I mean, I would argue there's a character that's supposed to represent each age, at least for the Golden and Silver Ages. In this entire event, Alan Scott is so clearly meant to be our representation of the Golden Age, and then Barry represents the Silver Age. I'm not sure who would represent the Bronze Age and
I don't know.
The Dark Age.
When did the Bronze Age happen? The comment? Is it
Bronze
Age?
The Bronze Age ends with Crisis, and then the Modern Age begins with Crisis onwards. But I forget. Is the Bronze Age?
Bronze Age starts with the death of Gwen Stacy.
So mid-70s.
So mid-70s. The Modern Age. Yeah, it's Crisis.
Onward.
Well, actually, no, that's the Dark Age, and I think people now say the Modern Age is the last 25 years.
I've still pretty consistently heard that the Modern Age is just Crisis onwards. So.
The problem with that is that means the Modern Age is
so long.
It's way too long. Yeah. But at this point,
I'm really struggling to find a character here that could fit the Bronze Age.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I was going to say, when did Black Lightning debut? But Black Lightning's 60s, isn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe Green Arrow and Black Canary.
I mean, their relationship feels more modern, but the Green Arrow's an old character.
Yeah, but there's the one very famous Green Arrow, Adam.
Well,
yeah, the one very famous Green Arrow adaptation, which we don't talk about.
But no, it's interesting.
Actually, maybe it is maybe it is one of the new gods. Maybe it is a Mr. Miracle or
maybe.
I don't know. Look. Here's the thing. This is probably going to be a long episode, and we are not going to cover everything.
Every single character that appears.
Yeah. But actually, getting into Final Crisis number 1, though. Let's get into.
Well, also, I should say, it's fascinating that the center of this is that Barry Allen remembers, because that's who's narrating just this bit. It's Barry.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
To be fair, Barry, we shouldn't spoil why Barry comes back yet.
Yeah. That's more a different Flash coverage later. Yeah, but
we're gonna here's the thing. We are currently in between Flash runs on Fresh Face Comics.
It's true. Yeah,
it's true. We're getting close to being in between quite a lot of runs, actually.
Yeah,
quite a few things,
which is good. It's a good thing. Let's be real.
You should read some good Flash.
We have read good Flash.
I know, but I'm talking about really good Flash.
What's really good Flash to you?
Mark Waid.
Yeah, people say the Mark Waid stuff is really good.
But I'm a Wally West stan, so I will maybe slander everything Barry Allen every so often.
Well, hey, that's your fault. But
so Final Crisis number 1, first issue. Can we talk about these covers? Like,
yes.
Alex Ross being Alex Ross. Is it Alex Ross?
No, it's J.G. Jones on the covers.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's J.G. Jones,
Yeah.
and it's interesting that each of the 7 issues has a spotlight on the classic Justice League members and Supergirl. Like, our 6 classic Justice Leaguers and Supergirl.
Supergirl, I think, is there also specifically as a reference to Infinite Earths.
Oh, right. That's probably why.
Yeah.
Also,
Darkseid
gets
important
one
in this.
Yeah, Supergirl. Here's the thing: there are a lot of important characters in Final Crisis. Like,
no one lacks importantness, but there's priority of who the most important.
But also, there's so much like here's the thing: like characters like Batman and Superman aren't in the main event that much, honestly.
Which is a good bit of the storytelling.
Honestly, I think that's like a good thing.
Well,
like, and when they are there, it hits really well. Especially, my God, the issue 6. Just
I have a lot to say about Batman's role when it comes up.
Yeah.
So I think Morrison wants to set us up our proper beginning of issue 1 with both biblical and mythological allusions, right? So we're starting with a caveman who is a Jack Kirby character, of course. This isn't Kamandi. This is a different caveman.
I thought it was Kamandi.
No, this one isn't, because there Kamandi's in it later. There's so much, guys. There's so much on this thing.
I didn't know DC had a second caveman.
This caveman being visited by Metro in quite literally a Promethean vision, bringing knowledge from the gods to humanity. That's what we're alluding to. Like, and then the immediate idea in bringing is, in a way, the original sin that brings violence and creates fire and destruction. And I mean, just over this first page, I think Morrison sets the tone perfectly for what they're doing.
What
they're doing, the ideas they're playing with, the idea of interhuman conflict, and honestly saying a lot with no real dialogue. Like, Metron gets some stuff as like
there are those speech bubbles to represent the cave people's like interactions with each other, but like it's all done through the art. Really, it is showing.
It's well indicated. Like, and then that last little.
Yeah, it's like it's the power struggle of conquest and people fighting.
And that last little note right at the end of the fire. You asked me, fire was our first big mistake.
Yeah.
To transition into
Dan fucking Turpin, the legend, Jack Kirby himself, really.
Jack Kirby himself.
Self-inserts don't get better than Dan Turpin.
I love him.
Here's the thing. I know this event was like received really poorly when it first came out. Like, I get it, because I think the audience we want another event with the Trinity and all these big characters, and we want our Justice League. And I'm like,
it doesn't help that it is a more spiritual event, not a traditional one. Like, I know for a fact with more, the more complex events aren't always great. Like, I was someone who was loving the last Flash run, and I know for a fact I was probably the only one going to my comic shop that liked that run.
Which are we talking about?
No, not Spurrier.
No.
It was Jeremy. It was the Jeremy Adams.
It's the one. The one where was it Jeremy Adams? It was the one that started with Flash #1.
Yeah. Williamson? Was it Williamson?
Well, it was the more recent Flash #1.
Okay.
Because Flash was one of the books that got a number reset at like issue 800.
No, Cy Spurrier was on that.
Yeah, that's the run. Well, it still might be that, but it's changed.
He's still on Flash right now.
Right. Yeah. But what I mean is the current. Right. How the last this Flash run started. Like, comic fans don't always like big ideas without sounding pretentious.
I mean, I mean, fuck, we can have this conversation because it is relevant to because Final Crisis as a story it's literary fiction. Let's do literary fiction as a fucking comic book because comic books can be high art. Damn it.
Yeah.
It's almost like here's the thing. Grant Morrison, probably one of my favorite writers now. Like,
I mean, I've been well aware of that for a while.
Like,
wait, you like Grant Morrison? I didn't know this fact.
Didn't know this.
Wild take, Jacob.
Wild take.
God, next you'll be telling me you hate Frank Miller.
Next thing.
Jacob has mostly read good Frank Miller comics.
Yeah. It's just here's the thing: the bad Frank Miller is one of the few people I give a 0 out of 10. It's really hard to get me to give something a 0 out of 10.
Beautiful. Anyway, so Dan Turpin finds Orion's Orion. Orion is beaten and lying with smoke coming off his body. And as Turpin finds him, Orion wakes
dies.
Up. Yes.
Yeah.
Orion wakes up, yells at him, and then dies.
There's the foreboding black racer in the background who I just love as a concept.
Yeah.
And we're opening our inciting incident of this comic is like this is our inciting incident proper. A god dies.
Yeah.
Like already our narrative is off to a semi-broken start.
Yeah.
And the next 5.5 issues are going to be building and building until narrative causality fully breaks down.
Yeah.
In the middle of issue 6. Thanks, Bruce. You broke the narrative.
I fucking love it. I love it. Well, here's the thing. Right from the start, the story should feel wrong. Something should feel off about the entire thing right from the beginning. And Morrison wants you to feel that way. Which may also have a lot to do with maybe some of the backlash to the story, which is that like, Morrison like wants you to feel uneasy reading it, and it makes sense.
It is to make you think. It does want to make you think. Again, without sounding pretentious, like there is something Morrison is going for. It won't land for everyone, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it also very much like it's a thing that Morrison would do again in All-Star Superman or around the same time. I when that book started, I don't remember. It's a thing other authors have done at DC before this point and are still doing. Like Alan Moore's done it a lot.
Yeah.
But
the sky begins to turn dark. The lightning begins to come down from the sky. It's red lightning. It's a great visual. I love it.
It's obviously a callback to Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Red skies are a Crisis on Infinite Earths thing.
See, part of the thing is I haven't read Crisis.
It's all right. It's all right. The way the schedule worked out, I couldn't make it happen. It's all right.
Oh, I was going to say, I was like, I wouldn't want to sacrifice continuing the Morrison run of Batman to do Infinite Earths. I don't know if Infinite Crisis.
If you were doing it as like do the crises, I would have to go Infinite Earths, Infinite Crisis, and then this. But John Stewart puts on his ring, goes into action to find out what is going on.
There's an alert that's going out of an issue 10 of an alert 1011 in progress.
He doesn't know what that is.
Yep. Hal Jordan's ring is not responding. We find out he's trying to get backup from Hal. And
that's more an interlude so that we stay on the streets.
We stay with Turpin, who comes across first off Renee Montoya, which is awesome. The question, right? Yeah.
Montoya.
Yeah.
Montoya. She's the question at this point.
Yeah.
She's the question. Like Turpin even calls out, didn't the question used to be a guy? Lung cancer from smoking.
Amazing.
I think Morrison may not love Steve Ditko characters as much as they love Jack Kirby characters.
Amazing.
But yeah, so there is this idea of that, someone is targeting metahuman children.
Mm-hmm.
The question needs to be mysterious because
it's the question. Of course.
Yeah,
you got it. Yeah, got to be mysterious.
And we have an advertisement for the Dark Side Club.
Amazing.
Oh, that sounds. I mean, I don't want to make the joke, but it's giving H. Arbinger.
Yeah.
At
least this works because I think this one's designed not to be subtle.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the whole idea again. It goes along with the theme of the narrative is already slightly going off the rails of narrative causality. We are having the obvious thing under our nose, and that works in a story like this. It works in certain Doctor Who stories where it's used. Mainly Devil's Cord, and Devil's Cord and Lux. I think it works, but we're not going to go down that route. Even though
I shouldn't have opened Pandora's box already.
Yeah, don't. You don't need to.
Meanwhile, okay, moving on. Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan is finally contacted and begins to investigate Orion's body with Jon Stewart. And he tells John to go to report to the Guardians, and Hal will report to the Justice League. Hal goes to the Guardians. John goes to the League.
Yeah.
But we do see the Guardians then becoming aware of the strange goings on Earth.
The Guardians are actually going to do something, which is quite rare.
Wild.
They're going to do something kind of stupid.
I mean, it's the Guardians.
I mean,
it's the Guardians. They're gonna. Here's the
thing. I'd argue it fits thematically that they're about to do something stupid.
Yeah, it's almost that they make. You could argue the Guardians in a way represent fans who want to inject themselves into the story and preserve things the way that they remember it.
Beautiful, but
I wonder if there's any a writer who I do genuinely like, who's writing for DC in this very specific space at the time.
Who actually no? I need to know who are you specifically referring
to? Jeff Johns. I'm like,
see,
there's
Johns. You haven't finished Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run, so you don't.
No, but there's a lot of Jeff Johns wants things to be just like they were. Kid and
Again, I repeat, you have not finished his Green Lantern. You don't actually know what he's going for yet. I'm telling you, man, there is a big endgame to Johns' GL that you have not seen yet, and it's it will change, I think, your perspective on that. But back on Earth,
the Rogues,
yeah, because there is chaos in the street, the Rogues and various other DC villains are taking advantage of such a thing.
They were just having a protest march. What do you mean?
Yeah, but the Justice League is begins taking them in. The Rogues start getting arrested.
It's all a front so that the Rogues can find Metron's. They can find Metron's chair and, using Mirror Master and Dr. Light, bring it into this reality.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
To bring it to Libra.
Who's here with Lex Luthor and
the Secret Society of Supervillains. So, okay, now we need to talk about how Morrison is setting up, sort of splitting the factions of the villains in the larger DC universe, mainly between the Rogues, who are kind of all lackeys who don't think for themselves always, but they do have a family. They have a familial thing, versus the Secret Society of Supervillains, who are mainly the big players. We don't need to talk about the Human Flame. Well,
the Human Flame is very important.
He's very important.
I think Morrison was very excited for a character called the Human Flame.
Okay, so the point is that the Super Secret Society doesn't have a family, but they're more intelligent and more selfish, and they almost do more damage because of that. Like, it's very interesting the way Morrison uses Lex Luthor as a character in this entire event. He's not in it much, but when he is, he is sort of always the I'm going to be super selfish, but I also don't fucking trust this guy who says that he can hurt Superman.
Yeah.
You got to prove to Lex Luthor you can do that.
But in order to prove his worth, Libra goes to kill Martian Manhunter, who it's a horrifying sequence. I love this moment. It's really good.
We also find out that Libra wants a full-on no bullshit Twilight of the Gods. So again, we're doing more mythic stuff.
Yeah. Also, in terms of villain plans, taking the telepath off the table first.
Yeah.
Actually intelligent.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably helps that the Martian Manhunter probably has the easiest weakness.
It's fire. Yeah. Everyone's weak to fire.
That's exactly it. Is like Martian Manhunter can be as OP as he wants to be, and he is. But I mean, just one really easy weakness, and that's that he's done.
And the Human Flame then gets a really big head. Martian Manhunter burn in flames terribly. And I love the way in this one panel that J.G. Jones, the faces of specifically Vandal Savage and there's this almost okay, we aren't entirely sold, definitely not on board with this because things are going weird. They're going weird.
Oh yeah.
And we immediately see them go weird. Okay, so G. Glorious Godfrey.
What was that?
G. Glorious Godfrey. One of our other Jack Kirby bullshit is reimagined once again as a Southern American televangelist. Just outright preaching for eugenics. Basically,
as you do.
As you do.
Yeah.
As you do.
We also get a small hint of Tattooed Man here, which is going to become important later on. We see him briefly in this scene. And we follow Dan Turpin inside the Dark Side
Club.
Which, again, great name. But yeah, Dan Turpin is followed by our... it's worth noting, for those that don't know, as far as, the New Gods characters that we're sort of following here from Apocalypse, they're all taking different forms here. They don't look how they typically look. So we have Calabac here, and Calabac is just a guy, pretty much. Is this guard at the Dark Side Club, and it's an interesting idea of Morrison playing around with the New Gods and the people from Apocalypse here, and Darkseid's army taking the guises of humans and sort of
and the idea that their bodies have been wearing thin and they've been going somehow that's introduced here as an idea. Because here's the thing, again, the whole story idea is that there is some mythical war in heaven and Darkseid won. That is our event. And honestly, we don't ever actually see the war in heaven.
Yeah.
We see the war on Earth. We see, I think heaven is meant to be sort of our ethereal outside the multiverse.
It's almost deliberately abstract here. The war in heaven is something that shouldn't be visualized.
I mean, that's usually if you're going to do the trope of heaven, that's how it is. That's we're essentially quoting, I think we're basically quoting Paradise Lost, sort of, and playing around with that a little bit, as well as bringing in influences of Wagner. That's where we get Twilight of the Gods with God damn it, can I say the word? It's German. Gotterdammering. the Wagner opera, Morrison is expecting his readers to be paying attention and understanding
their readers.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, that's where they go wrong straight away.
Yeah.
They dare think, which is more a problem with the American education system more than anything.
Yeah,
but what we have is Boss Darkseid. I fucking love the human design of Darkseid. Like,
yeah, it's cool.
Don't see him much, but he is just like a dude in these glasses.
Mm-hmm. Turpin is taken in by the Darkseid Club. We see we get our first hint of the anti-life equation with these children that are in the Darkseid Club.
Very much establishing that Darkseid has found it.
Yeah,
he has found the anti-life equation,
and he can use it to destroy everything, and it's great. We then hop over to the Justice League, where Jon Stewart is telling them about everything that is supposedly going on. While this meeting is happening, though, our Alpha Lanterns are zeroing in on the Justice League, and they begin to descend. They begin to make their way down there.
The idea is that they have to secure the crime scene, which basically
the whole planet.
We're going to cut Earth off.
Yeah. And then let's talk about the monitors.
Okay.
Yeah, they show up.
Yeah, so it's hard to give this event an A plot, B plot structure. It's
just there isn't one.
It's all plot.
It's all plot, but I'd argue that our monitor plot is the B plot to the Darkseid plot's A plot, but they're equally important plots. So, we have the multiverse, overseen by our monitors. There's a lot of them. There are 52 monitors. Some of them are evil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, God. Our monitor of importance is Nix Uotan, who is the monitor of
F-51.
Earth 51.
Which is just going to double check which Earth that is.
Yeah, I don't know which Earth that is.
I don't know. It's
the one where it's the gender swap universe, I think.
Oh,
I think. Is it
interesting?
No, hang on. No. Oh wait, no.
The idea is that Earth 51 is heavily implied to be where Darkseid released the anti-life equation first, and probably begun the whole war in heaven, beginning on this Earth. He was too late to save it. We have one monitor speaking in his defense.
F-51's. Oh no, F-51 is a Jack Kirby Earth.
Oh, that makes sense. And basically, this monitor is exiled. There is a monitor called Ouija Dell, who is Nix Uotan's love interest, and a third monitor of some importance, who is basically a fucking Shakespeare villain.
Yeah, we literally have like a little aside where he's like, Uotan, my only obstacle is gone, and it's just like it's funny.
Yeah, because again, we are dealing with the awareness that this is a story being broken down. So quite literally, the characters can't see the audience. The characters can't see the audience. Also, there's a little bit of reflection on the development of the monitors from. I imagine the monitors, the monitor, as in the Crisis on Infinite Earths character, and the pre-Crisis character in his very early Titans appearances, which we have read a couple of, and how they're just really weird and
there's not
because they have
it is just not the same character.
There's this line of, behold, we monitors who were faceless once, we all now have names and stories. There are heroes and villains, secrets and lovers. It's this idea that, again, in creating the story, we are given as people. Like, that is part of the reason why we tell stories. That's going to undercut so much of this event. This event's a lot. It is. Yeah. It is doing a lot.
Big old chunky boy.
Oh, yeah.
It's also very much like, it's not that difficult to understand if you're paying attention and reading it.
Yeah. Again, you can't expect the public to pay attention.
Exactly.
The children are wrong.
I think thankfully, once we get past this first issue and we've laid out like the groundwork, we won't have to go into like as much detail with.
There are definitely moments I'm gonna.
Yeah, definitely. But like,
it's pure setup.
Yeah. But in setting this up, we also see for the first time our other cave person, Commandee.
This is Commandee, who is at the end of the earth.
This is the one I knew about.
Yeah. And we also see Nixuaton waking up on Earth, on the prime DC Earth, like, in the wake of the death of the Martian Manhunter.
Mm-hmm. And that ends issue 1, bringing us into Final Crisis number 2, Ticket to Bloodhaven. My god, the opening of this issue is fucking nuts. The first scene of the second issue is absolutely insane.
Just a lot of new god shenanigans.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, I never quite understood who the super team are. Are they Jack Kirby characters, or is it a more thing?
I thought they were.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, aren't they all secretly new gods? Is that...
Yeah. The idea is that these are all new gods in human form right now.
Right.
So I assume they're somehow a Jack Kirby thing, if not a direct Jack Kirby thing.
It's also a lot of it is also, I think Grant Morrison loves things like tokusatsu, like things like the stuff that became Power Rangers in the US.
Just like me, for real.
They are a writer I would love to just sit down with and just talk. Okay, you have ideas. How the hell? How?
Yeah.
How?
You want to pick that brain.
Ideas. Opening scene is essentially just establishing more new gods in human form,
while also doing very much a let's do like one last normal superhero story for a couple of pages in a very unfamiliar setting to an American audience.
Yeah.
Power Rangers was out by now. They might have some familiarity. There's been enough Godzilla. There's been enough anime. They might have. I feel like the overlap of people who like anime and Japanese things and who would read comics might be higher than you think.
Here's the problem. Here's the thing, though. Some of that overlap is going to be people not like this, like on a fundamental level.
Yeah.
Because yeah. Oh god, did I have some notes on these? Yeah. We also need to establish there's a Mr. Miracle involved.
Yeah.
Not Scott Free. Not that one. A different Mr. Miracle.
Yeah, I have one note on the new Mr. Miracle. Mr. Miracle has the exaggerated swagger.
No, Kian.
God, why must you be in a different country so I can't come to your address and murder you?
No, Kian. No.
I can't help but remember that IGN thing.
No. Oh God.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the design for the new Mr. Miracle is it's fun. I like the suit.
Yeah, it's fun. We get Darkseid coming here to get retrieve one of our new gods. Who is this one that is Super Sumo-san? Who is that one?
I'm
not sure who this one is supposed to be, but either way, Darkseid takes the one that is in this form, and it sort of opens this one. Oh no, sorry, this isn't Darkseid. This is this is Mr. Miracle. Yeah.
This
Mr.
is our
Miracle's
new
one.
Mr. Miracle.
That's right.
I'm seeing if it says in this issue. I don't know if it does.
I don't remember what it is. I feel like they do say it at some point, but I can't remember when.
Oh no, this isn't actually a new god. No, this is just a superhero created by Jack Kirby for DC.
Okay.
Like,
gotcha. Cool.
In the Silver Age. I was like, I don't think this is a new.
Just New Earth, Super. Hang on.
Look, I also have to have, because of the sheer amount of characters to try to keep right well in my notes as I could, I do have the wiki open just so I can quickly just check and make sure some histories as best as I can.
Yeah, I'm switching between my notes and DC Wiki. I don't think this character's a new god. I just think they're Jack Kirby characters.
No, he's just a Jack Kirby character. Yeah. For good reason. We stand Jack Kirby.
But we had to catch up once again with Uoten and his life now living on Earth.
Mainly being
at a fast food joint.
I was going to say, basically being forced to be... basically being forced to conform to society's expectations. Because we haven't even brought up the streak of like Morrison promoting anti-conformity. What? A queer person writing a story where being against conformity is a major theme and part of like core philosophy? What?
That isn't a theme, because that would make the comic political.
Yes, and of course, as we all know, comics are not political.
Comics aren't political.
Yeah. Let's talk about a cop beating up a criminal. We have Dan Turpin beating Mad Hatter here.
To be fair, if there was a DC, if there was a Batman villain you'd want to beat up,
it would be Mad Hatter. Yeah, that's.
It's also the one you probably got the best chances against.
Yeah, that's true. Him and Scarecrow, you could beat their asses.
Yeah, Scarecrow can still hit you with the gas, whereas Mad Hatter, if you don't let him put a hat on you, you just give him the old 1-2.
yeah, and clearly Dan Turpin.
I will say one thing in the background here is that the president of the United States is currently someone called Horn. And when I saw that, all I could think of is Taskmaster, the British panel show of little Alex Horn as the president of the States.
Oh no. But we get that scene. We see then the funeral of Martian Manhunter. I love those panels that J.G. Jones draws of all of our heroes mourning John Jones.
It's a triptych. It's a triptych.
Yeah,
a lovely little triptych, and it's done in one panel where it's basically like, and Superman being the one to get perfect, as two last of their kind. Yes, I know Clark has Supergirl and the Bob
Supergirl might not be a Kryptonian at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It might not be Kara still.
Technically, though, there is also another Superman on Earth at this point. I think.
Wait. Who are we talking about?
No, there is Earth 2 Superman at this point.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
When they got merged after Crisis, I think there is just an older Superman chilling on Earth at this point. I believe.
I think so.
I feel like there's a cameo in a later issue, and there's like two Supermen. One of them has a grey streak.
Well, some of that is also just because there's in this book there
are no. I mean when like the call's put out.
Okay. All right. Look, I was trying to say thematically, Superman giving the eulogy makes sense. It's perfect.
Yeah, but you're wrong. You should have checked that.
Yeah, it's nice. But we then catch back up with the Secret Society. Libra is, sort of showing off that he has killed Martian Manhunter. And Lex goes, first off, the Martian was an easy target. Fucking what? This is one of those powerful DC characters ever. What are you talking about, Lex?
He does have a point. As it seems to be, fire is much more abundant.
Yeah, I suppose. But also, I don't know. Martian Manhunter is incredibly strong. I don't know.
Martian Manhunter. The reason why Martian Manhunter is weak to fire because you take all of Superman's powers and you give him shapeshifting and telepathy.
Yeah, exactly. He's great. I love him. But we then go.
We have this brief moment between Lex and Vandal Savage. where
the two smartest.
Savage basically says, if he promises an end to my board, take it. I'm not going to ally with him unless I get that, which is interesting.
But then at the back with the Justice League, we are examining Orion's body, and this is when our Alpha Lanterns begin sort of stepping in on Justice League business.
This is Alpha Lantern Kraken. Kraken. Okay, so the whole idea is that it's like, you cannot possibly know how a god could have died. And of course, Bruce is like, he was shot. Like, a god was shot and died. Like, that's what happened. It's and there's just this there's this fascinating interplay between the Trinity here and this as essentially representing three humans, and the Alpha Lantern Kraken representing, well, I mean, spoilers for a much later issue. This is Granny Goodness.
Yeah.
This is Granny Goodness.
Such a great idea. I love it.
But also represents, the Celestials of the Guardians and space and the big ideas. And it's like, no, this guy was shot. Batman is the detective who's going to come and figure out what the crime is. Diana is the one who's going to try to empathize with anyone and is immediately rejected.
Yeah, I'm not your sister.
Yeah, which interesting, very interesting.
I like that. We then see John Stewart once again, and looking at the crime scene where Orion was shot, where Orion landed at least. Another Green Lantern named Opto is coming in to help the investigation.
Basically, there are a whole lot of signals that aren't waking up, aren't matching up, and there's also something buried on this spot that's been buried for 50 years. And it looks to be a bullet that's been buried for 50 years. Again, we're dealing with the fact the narrative is broken.
John is then attacked.
Supposedly by Hal Jordan.
These look like Green Lantern constructs. And then we cut over to Hal, who is attacked by Alpha Lantern Kraken, other Alpha Lanterns.
Mainly for the murder of a new god and the attempted murder of a partner. And Hal goes quietly.
Yeah. Wild moment for Hal Jordan. But back at the Justice League, Kraken informs Batman and Superman that she has figured it all out, that Hal Jordan killed Orion, and obviously Batman and Superman don't buy this for a second.
No, because they're like, this is wrong. Something weird's going on. We get the first real hint that Kraken is, in fact, Granny Goodness. And there are two brains in this body. So we then get, fight immediately breaks out. And something happens basically to activate a boom tube.
And we then cut over to
the implication is Batman might get taken. Does Bruce get taken away at this point?
This is what leads into the Batman story.
Yeah, he is taken out of the narrative.
Yeah, because
Batman is now off the table.
Yeah, our last couple of events of the issue sort of happened like really rapidly. We have Turpin here fighting,
investigating the destruction of Bloodhaven, finding Reverend Good, and being brought basically down to Darkseid's lair, where
our other new gods are doing experiments. They have Batman restrained in this pod. Jacob is obviously already very familiar with such a thing, having read our Batman issues before.
Yes.
Meanwhile, over at the Daily Planet,
we see
the Daily Planet is blown up.
Blown up.
It gets blown up.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly some imagery.
Yeah.
Mainly we are we have started the destruction of Earth. So we are systematically taking out our most powerful heroes one by one.
Yeah.
We're locking Batman up. We've kind of it's implied that it'll be implied later that we've already infected Diana.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now we're blowing up.
Also, Jay Wilson is Clayface.
Yeah, and now to get at Superman, we're blowing up the Daily Planet. Hope.
Yeah, we have Clayface commit domestic terrorism.
Yep, we have the implication, of course, that Lois is trapped into the rubble and Superman can't save her.
In a panel that is very reminiscent of the death of Superman.
Yeah, it's a good callback.
Yeah, and then we have actually ending the issue. Wally and
Jay, our Flashes.
Finding another Flash. the lads are all back together, and Kian weeps because Barry Allen showed up at the end of the
issue, running away from the Black Racer and a bullet.
You're literally outrunning death.
Yeah, like the legend he is. Bring us into Final Crisis number 3. This is No Evil. No, as in no, like KN.
Evil. Yeah, yes.
Anyway, it's nice. It's good. But open here. Hey, Jacob, look, Frankenstein.
Hi, Frankenstein.
So many characters. So many.
I think I've only read one other thing that involves Frankenstein, and it's like the couple of issues of Batman and Robin he's in.
Okay, you haven't read Justice League Dark?
No, I'm going to be honest. I just know Frankenstein exists in the DC universe, which is cool.
Such a great character. Or you can watch Creature Commandos, because that's a good show.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to say, here's something that's kind of interesting. The layouts for the first sequence of this issue is all 9-panel grids.
Gotta love 9-panel grids.
And variations on 9-panel grids. Specifically because as soon as we lose it, we start to get weirder panels then the event literally starts to break down. Like it's almost visually the narrative is breaking down, but
yeah.
We have Frankenstein and Shade descending on the Dark Club, and Renee Montoya is asking the question, what happened to Danny Turpin? Because he's gone.
Yeah. And in the all the destruction here, we then go over to finding our first hints of the people coming over from other universes. We have Nazi Supergirl.
A Nazi Supergirl that could have been such a problem for this story. Like,
do tell.
Morris, like,
you think Morrison can't handle writing Nazis, Jacob? Come on.
I think they easily could have dropped the ball.
You think Morrison could have dropped the ball, Jacob?
Come on.
I mean,
Morrison, they dropped the ball with their initial characterization of Talia al Ghul, like.
But still, listen to yourself. Come on.
That was more just a product of the time, whereas thankfully, Nazis bad still wasn't a hot.
That is true.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's hard to fuck up even saying Nazis bad. Come on,
unless you make the Nazis
in 2000 and something, it was.
Yeah. But we see a bit more of Uotan,
who has to go through the terrible thing of basically being told not to. He's been thinking too much, so he's fired.
Yeah. We then go back over to the Flash family. This is more in the aftermath of finding Barry Allen, and Jay and Wally are telling the story of how they found Barry, and that it was in fact Barry Allen. Iris West is here importantly, and this is a big moment for her. I like the scene a lot, actually.
Again, continuing our idea that like thematically at the core of this family is kind of just part of the DC universe. It's what pins this entire universe together. And oh my god, Iris just like makes me so sad. I'm like,
such a good moment. Such a good moment. Oh god. Because one of those things where like when you really go back to like examine the original Death of Barry Allen, and again, I won't say too much because Jacob hasn't read it, but like Iris isn't there. She isn't part of it. She doesn't get to say goodbye to Barry. There's no clue. There's never been any closure for Iris West.
Nope.
So having this moment is huge. I love that. It's a great moment. I love the little moment where like Jay like confirms for her, and he says like it was Barry Allen, Iris. I know that aura anywhere. I saw your husband alive. It's a great little line, and the way Jay draws.
It's ironic because bro's usually auraless.
Oh my god.
So now we got to talk to
the Legion of Doom.
I was going to say, meanwhile, the Legion of Doom.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
Amazing.
So, the human flame is given the anti-life.
This is one of the bits that's, I know writers that use subtext and they're all cowards. the human flame is the first to fall, you say.
Crazy.
I feel like Morrison's trying to say something here.
No, not at all.
Not at all, but here's the thing. This is so layered, Kian. Morrison is using subtext. There's just also a lot of text to go with it.
Yeah, it's subtext under the most obvious,
Well, here's the thing. I think there's a misunderstanding of subtext, maybe because of the Garth Marenghi, that subtext must be completely subtextual, and it's like, that's, subtext usually has to have something in the text to back it up. Like, there has to be something there, and there's a lot here. But the idea is that Mike as being given the anti-life is literally called judge others, enslave others, anti-life justifies my and that within 24 hours the ability to make decisions will be forcibly removed from the planet. So I treasure this lifetime.
You're cutting out a bit, Jacob.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Try again. Basically, in less than 24 hours, the ability to make decisions will be the inhabitants of this planet. So I treasure this once-in-a-lifetime offer. The idea is we are going to have conformity and essentially a pointless existence.
Yeah.
But at least we all get cool silver helmets.
We do get cool silver helmets, and you can't argue with that. Meanwhile, Lois Lane is unwell. She's in the hospital, and Clark is looking after her, and we have to set up a small mini series. So Clark receives a visit in the hospital from a certain someone that we'll get back to in the next issue.
This is someone who is obviously a monitor, someone we have seen before.
Back in issue 1.
Mainly this is how we get Clark out of the narrative.
Mm-hmm. But we then go back to our Justice League with Hal Jordan being taken by the Alpha Lanterns. We have Diana and Alan Scott here, and Black Lightning, I forgot. Sort of trying to stand up for Hal, but Hal is like, no, let me go. Let me talk to the Guardians. So Hal goes willingly. He's taken away by the Alpha Lanterns.
Very much this idea that the major players are being taken off the board.
Yeah, that whole Justice League, original Justice League team is off the board bar Diana at the moment.
Yeah. And she's not going to last much longer. So
no.
But we talk about a thing then called Article X, the draft for superheroes, which is essentially what we use to begin banding together every hero in the DC universe ever.
It's basically we need to put out it's like, hey, the world's in trouble.
Put out the call.
We have to stand up and actually do something.
Yeah. So Alan Scott gets in contact with Barbara Gordon, and she puts out the call. We see Aquaman and Freddy, Shazam. We see Supergirl. We see Green Arrow. We see Black Canary. All of them sort of being drafted. I love Ollie in particular. His reaction to being drafted.
I mean, come on.
This is Oliver Queen we're talking about. Yeah, exactly.
If anybody falls for this authoritarian, militaristic crap, it'll prove I'm absolutely right about absolutely everything. hey, Mark Millar, Mr. Millar, yeah. You want to know how to do an event where you have a ton of characters?
Oh, and, see, I was going to go out a different. I was going to take a different dig there.
Hey,
I was just going to say,
Kian, patience. You're ruining my joke. I was trying to say that. Just go meet Grant Morrison. Let him run into you.
But also, I was going for
them.
My dig was going to be the difference is if the CW adapted this, Oliver Queen would be the one putting out the call.
That's true. You're fucking right.
And just no, please.
No, it wouldn't be Oliver Queen. It would be Felicity.
Oh God! No! Stop, Jacob.
No, Oliver Queen would be the Green Lantern in this scenario.
Oh God! Oh God!
Anyway, my point is, Grant Morrison writes all of these characters as individual characters, and you can read the dialogue and get a sense of something about who each of these people are. Mm-hmm. And it never becomes just a haze of, I don't know who this could be. Like Oliver Queen's line. You can't put that line in the mouth of Super or Aquaman.
No.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And we get this gorgeous page.
It's the money shot. You love it. Alan Scott sort of uniting all of our heroes. And though Wonder Woman hasn't been taken out of the plot, she's already on this page being treated like she's not part of the plot. It's great.
Yeah, it's subtle.
Yeah, it's cool. We then see catch back up with Mr. Miracle, and he gets attacked by some of Darkseid's anti-life soldier people. So Mr. Miracle and a couple of other heroes from the club earlier in the issue or last issue.
Yeah, and mainly the super young team are standing up fighting on their own, and then we get to see. We start then in Bloodhaven with Diana, the most compassionate of the Justice League, there to pick up pieces and to help people.
Mm-hmm. She's just there helping people
until she's confronted by Mary Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
who is evil.
Mm-hmm. She's got a look. Let's say.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is meant to represent the dark age of.
I mean, it does have that 90s edgelord aesthetic.
That 90s edgelord, we're evil, so now we're sexy. Look at me, I've got a boob window.
Yeah.
In the shape of a lightning bolt.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
It feels very, if you've ever seen it, Sue Storm's 90s costume.
Oh, I know it well.
The 4 is the window.
Yep. But we have Diana versus Mary Marvel. And
Diana showing compassion till the end.
Mm-hmm. Until she's eventually given the anti-life equation and things start to go to shit as we begin closing out the issue.
An email is sent to every computer in the world and open. Barbara Gordon tries to get people to pull the plugs on the internet, but it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
The world falls apart. Wonder Woman is turned into an evil monster as the leader of the female Furies.
The female Furies. Yeah. And now riding the most deadly creature of them all. XL bullies.
And we then take a step back from Final Crisis itself and go into a small mini-series called Superman Beyond, written by Morrison, drawn by Doug Mank. So, this is fascinating.
So, Okay. This is so Morrison can go to that complete underlayer of why we tell stories and the stories that we tell. Because that's kind of what Superman in a lot of ways represents, especially in Final Crisis. So this might be is this the most mindfucky of the event? It might be.
Beyond easily.
I mean,
easily.
Probably.
I mean, maybe the Batman issues, maybe.
The Batman issues, kind of. Maybe even just, how episode 7, issue 7 resolves.
Yeah, maybe. But we begin with as seeing another Superman fall, and as we catch back up with Clark back in the hospital as he's visited by one of the monitors.
I will say there is one very important line on this first page because it gets answered on the last page of this mini-series. And to bring things of, tell me, Superman, what shall we engrave upon your tombstone? Because, well, that's going to be important. Just put a pin in that.
No.
So, we have the recap of Clark and the Monitor basically being, told that, hey, we can stop time, we can go and save Lois, but you're going to have to leave her on her own for a little bit. And because it's Superman, of fucking course he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll do anything.
There's also this idea that I think that Morrison is playing with of like trust in leaving Lois alone, like leaving Lois to like, although she is hospitalized, like there's just the idea of leaving her on her own, like fending for herself in her own way. I think that makes sense. But our Monitor here takes Superman into fucking chaos.
Into chaos. Yeah, quite literally chaos. This is
just universe between universes. It's just really trippy.
Oh yeah.
This is quite literally a descent, at its core, a descent into the underworld. Part of the important plot points is that there is something called the bleed that is bleeding between universes, and in that bleed, like, that is the multiverse breaking down. That is narrative causality breaking down. The monitors seem to be able to control. So, what this Monitor has done is, I'm going to try to collect as many Supermen as I can and try to save the multiverse. Now, this is a lot. It is a lot. It's also really well done. Like, part of this miniseries is maybe the highlight of the event in a lot of ways.
That's fair. I mean, the highlight of the event realistically is the 2 Batman issues. Like, those are
That's true. I also did not reread the 2 Batman issues.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but like, I'm just if we're talking about the things like collected in this collection, it's Batman. But this is right up there. I do love these issues. So yeah, we begin saying apart the Supermen. We have Ultraman here, of course.
We have a version of Captain Marvel. Remembering that Captain Marvel's existence is quite literally just a rip on that Fox Comics.
Jacob, what keeps happening to your mic? What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm not doing anything.
That is so weird. You just like every now and then your audio just stops.
It's very possible that there's bad weather coming.
I'm not sure how that would affect it.
Actually, Mark Millar's tracked him down.
Mark Millar's tracked me down.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, maybe I just adjust the volume a little bit, see if that'll help me pick up a little better.
Yeah, maybe pick you up a little better.
Maybe do sensitivity.
But we're seeing up for the Superman. We have I can't remember his name now. Blue guy,
Captain Adam.
Yes, Adam. Not Atom.
I said Adam.
Adam, as in like Adam, the name.
Yeah,
Adam. Who I want to say is partially, at least I feel, is at least partially the inspired by Watchmen.
Yeah, he's giving this is Dr. Manhattan, but copyright. Even though we own
not
copyright.
Copyright. Here's the thing. I know
some
people
don't want to
like
be cursed
say,
by Alan Moore.
I think Grant Morrison is a person who has a lot of respect for Alan Moore.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more respect for Alan Moore than DC does as a whole.
Yeah. But Morrison themselves is aware that Moore will see Dr. Manhattan in a mainline DC comic and will just put a curse on that comic.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But yeah, I think that's also, I think there's also an implied that one is the universe, at some point.
Yeah, there is genuinely a DC multiverse that is the Watchmen universe without Watchmen characters. It's just their DC equivalents.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who. Oh no, I think the Question's Rorschach.
I think so. Yeah, I know
I
what
can't remember all the characters.
Yeah,
it's all the it's all the, oddly enough, the Fawcett characters that they acquired pre-Crisis. Alan Moore wanted to use those characters as the Watchmen cast,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just not allowed to do that.
And then DC said no, and I think that maybe helps Watchmen be as good as it is. I hate to say it, Alan Moore being told no. But yeah, so okay. So we have the idea of the bleed. We have all of our Supermen. For a really trippy miniseries, the plot of this is kind of simple.
It is, yeah.
But this is also really where Morrison is going to have their "why do we tell stories" as the underline.
In addition to setting up what will essentially be the ending of Final Crisis.
If the idea is that Final Crisis is how we break together narrative causality, the main event is going to show how we break it in issue 6. We fully break it.
Yeah.
But this miniseries has to set up here's together. And I understand why this is a miniseries and not a issues, because it completely disrupts the flow of the event.
Mm-hmm.
But it is clearly essential.
It's also just a lot more focused than the main event. The main event is telling so many different plot threads at once, and Superman Beyond is literally just this one. Let's follow just this one character, and and at its core, it is Superman just trying to save Lois. In the most Grant Morrison way imaginable, obviously. But it's great.
Well, yeah, you can't save Lois in a normal way.
Yeah. But yeah.
So. Morrison also very much wants to call out the problem with inaction. Our Captain Adam, our Dr. Manhattan insert, is criticized for his inaction, for his inability to act.
Yeah, just by the most unhinged character in the comic.
By the worst person possible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's the most unhinged.
Mm-hmm.
Because we also have to, be going through these universes in a yellow submarine. Because I'm 90% sure that they're just referencing the Beatles song "Yellow Submarine."
Yeah, it would be a highly weird coincidence if they were.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But in gathering all our Super and Ultraman, sort of being the odd one out here. We also do have a Nazi Superman in the midst of it.
Yeah, somehow Nazi Superman fits more than Ultraman.
It's true.
I mean, that's because instead of making a universe where everybody's a Nazi, it's Morrison playing with, there's a universe where the Nazis won, but people under fascism aren't going to stop being people. They're still going to be people. Like people under fascism could still create a Superman.
Mm-hmm.
A Superman.
Tell me more about how much you love Nazi Superman, Jacob.
Yeah, this is not. You're not beating the allegations.
Oh God! Here I am trying to make the literary point. Treat this like adult storytelling, and I just fall right into the bits way too easily.
You set us up. Wait, you set us up. You set us up. That's all. Yeah, it was right there. I'd be a fool not to take it. Come on.
But yes, like our Nazi or I don't like to call him Nazi Superman because part of the point is that he is not a Nazi. Like, he is actively trying to resist.
Tell me more about how the guy wearing an SS symbol isn't a Nazi, Jacob.
It's okay, though. He's one of the good ones.
No. I mean, I was going to say there is certainly a choice in that design, which is... I don't think Grant Morrison or J.G. could have predicted how quickly Nazism would re-rise in the 21st century. Because they're Morrison especially. They're writing an event that is anti-fascist to its core. Like this entire thing is trying to take a middle finger to fascism, creating fascism as antithetical to being a human being. But again, the whole idea is that people are going to be people and trying to help. Everyone's going to have that human drive, and that maybe sometimes people can actually be good.
Yeah.
R. Clark is motivated. It's like, I don't want to let my wife down. I don't want to let anyone else down.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all classic Inferno, Divine Comedy style descent through heaven, purgatory, descent through hell, purgatory, and then eventually heaven to find the answer that's going to bring things back. They literally find the library of limbo.
Mm-hmm.
That's an infinite, and they're trying to find a book that is like an infinite number of pages, all occupying the same space.
Mm-hmm.
And we get really trippy, basically, that there was a flaw at the center of whatever was before the universe. And the flaw was essentially thought. Like, the flaw was existence itself. That's
it goes right back to that, the opening scene of the entire comic, which is Metron with the caveman, giving him knowledge. Like, that is exactly what that's referring to. In that, we also do see the other monitors here. Sort of
a shrine to Superman.
Yeah. Once again, there's also just Morrison in their commentary on stories in general,
on narrative and breaking that we tell stories because that makes.
And Superman, the character in this case, is a representation of stories. And that's the entire allegory there. It's good.
Superman as a character was created by two Jewish men in response to the rise of fascism in the late 1930s. That's yes, they weren't in Nazi Germany, they were in America, but they were aware of it. They were writing in a lot of ways about the Jewish experience through early Superman. If you read a lot of early Superman, they're also writing utterly crazy stuff. Read early Superman; it's great.
It's insane. I love it.
It's insane.
But in reference to that, sort of like Superman being fighting against fascists, we have Morrison is using Ultraman here as the antithesis, obviously, of everything that Superman stands for. And the issue literally ends with Ultraman claiming victory, evil triumphs, evil wins in the end. And it's it's a great little cliffhanger taking us into Beyond number 2.
And the cliffhanger itself reminds me in a lot of ways of that bit in Spaceballs of evil triumphs because good is dumb.
Because good is dumb. Yeah, exactly. People that believe in evil, if I may, don't actually believe in anything. I would say like that's sort of what Morrison is going for here with Ultraman. Like it should sound ridiculous because it is.
Yeah, again, like choosing the most unhinged version of Superman you could probably have chosen. To just show the flaws of evil. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I should also say, I haven't mentioned it. I love the way Doug Mink draws Superman. Like
same.
Maybe even more than the way J.G. Jones draws Superman.
Mm-hmm.
We get it. Anyway, I think that kind of leads us into Superman Beyond Part 2.
Yeah. So we have once again Ultraman being insane. We have we haven't really talked about the Merry Man. I like Merry Man a lot. It's just part of our multiversal rebellion. Just a silly little guy. Part of our multiversal rebellion against Ultraman, and fascism in general. We have our monitor here being taken
bled.
Being bled. And we have once again trying to like portray Nazi Superman as like not completely evil, which again is interesting. In how he interacts with our Captain Marvel here. I just like this moment. It's cool. But we essentially Morrison is building up to this large finale in part 2 where all of our Supermen are trying to stop the bleed. Ultraman being sort of the wrench in the entire thing. We haven't really talked about Mandrak yet either, who's sort of this entity here in that is causing the bleed.
Who I would argue is a representative of what happens after narrative causality breaks, especially after reading the way the event itself ends. I heard somewhere that people think Mandrak is supposed to be Alan Moore? ? And I don't get it.
I don't see that.
There's this weird idea that Grant Morrison apparently hates Alan Moore, and I don't think that's true.
Get that idea? No, I don't get that at all.
The idea is that then all the monitors are also supposed to represent different writers of comics, and like
I don't think Grant Morrison is using Final Crisis to take pot shots at other writers. Like that's odd. That's an odd take.
Because it also means one of them represents Jack Kirby, I believe, and I'm like, I don't think Morrison's going to take pot shots at Jack Kirby.
Dan Turpin is Jack Kirby.
Yes.
Look, as we know, there's only one writer Grant Morrison would take a pop shot at, but that's more just when they see them in their car moving at 100 miles
an hour.
Exactly. Morrison would do real physical harm to Mark Millar, not just jab at the guy in a comic book. We have Captain Atom here, sort of like splitting, and I think the idea
the most Dr. Manhattan part.
Oh yeah, exactly.
The idea is that part of the idea is playing with the idea of duality versus symmetry, as duality being a literal mirror, whereas symmetry meaning more just parallels and things repeating, but also not being exactly the same. Again, playing back into that idea of the stories we tell, how stories develop, and how things work together. It's almost like they're doing a lot with this comic, and Grant Morrison has so many ideas that we can't cover them all.
Yeah, it's a lot.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. We then have our version of the Superman, essentially, with our Superman here, the one that we saw from the beginning of the comic when we did our sort of flash forward.
I just love the way it's drawn.
Oh yeah, it's a very different style for Mank. It looks robotic. It's really cool.
It probably helps as well a little bit that there are multiple inkers on this issue. There are 4 inkers. I'm not sure who's inking these pages. I don't think it's Tom Nguyen or Christian Alamy. I would love the breakdown of who did what on this. Like,
yeah, that's just the problem with comic book credits in general, though.
Sometimes they get nice and they're like, this person drew pages one to whatever, but so often they aren't, and it's like, I'd love to know.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just have a look.
But we have our other monitors here releasing Mandrake. I love Mandrake's design; it's really, really cool. And we have Superman fighting Mandrake. Once again, we get the line about the whole, what we put on your tombstone. Great sort of idea that Morrison is playing around with there. I love this fight. It's a really cool fight. It is literally the idea of just good versus evil, evil personified. Like it's really cool.
Superman being the only one who can restore narrative causality,
and
being sort of the final line in the sand. Because the multiverse is breaking down, the bleed is happening.
DC began with Superman. Superman will be the last one standing.
Yeah. Oh God, great idea. But as our sort of merged Superman begins to break down, Superman, Captain Marvel, and Nazi Superman. This is the trio. This is the trio in this book.
Again, because the Nazi Superman is the given.
Say it, Jacob. Say it.
Such an interesting idea of someone who is going above the circumstances of their birth, mainly.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah, Jacob. Tell me how much you love Nazi Superman.
Do you feel kinship with Nazi Superman?
No, I'm just. Well, the whole point is that this is a Superman who landed. What if Superman landed in Nazi Germany, and therefore the Nazis won?
It's also got that great little detail. Superman landed 5, 10. I can't remember it. It said it was occupied land that Nazi Superman landed.
Superman landed the year before World War II started. But mainly because Superman was created in 38. Right before World War II started.
I think I can't remember the exact time frame or what land it is, but you can sort of imagine if he lands 10 years earlier, he just doesn't end up in that situation.
Yeah, basically.
In leaving this bridge between the multiverse and the bleed, we've been closing out with Mandrake sort of making Ultraman the vampire Superman. Which is fucking wild, and I love it. And then Clark returns to the hospital and to Lois, who he's able to save. And there's just this great little reunion here.
He saves her with a kiss because Superman can.
Yeah. And then we see what will be engraved on Superman's tombstone, which is this final message that says "To be continued." And I love it.
Because it represents the fact that we keep telling stories, and stories continue. And then we get our third tie-in that is...
It is such a fascinating issue. It's a straightforward issue of Final Crisis. It's a normal story.
It's just a normal story of shit. I need to set this up.
I can actually describe this in 3 sentences. That could be the entire coverage of this issue. It's a lovely issue, drawn by Matthew Clark, which I really enjoy.
Also feels like it's just a very logical issue to do, given the greater theme of fascism.
Yeah. It's
Black Lantern, Black Lightning, and Tattooed Man.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why they're both chosen for this issue.
Yeah. Characters at odds, and characters that are importantly minorities in this moment here. It is a story about overcoming differences. It is a story about
also realizing that there are some differences you can't overcome. I'm sorry, if you're a non-white person, you can't really become super good friends with a racist.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Hot take, I know. But yeah, we have it's a great issue. It's a very, like I said, it's a very straightforward issue though. And essentially most of what it is here to do is to make Tattooed Man and Black Lightning, close enough that Tattooed Man will like actually work to help the Justice League in the end, and that Black Lightning is sort of ends the issue going to sacrifice himself to the
and to give just more to the Tattoo Man is because he's sadly a more minor DC character even when compared to Black Lightning. Like,
yeah.
Black Lightning at least got a TV show at some point.
Yeah, he did, which I still haven't watched.
Also, this includes one of my favorite little details as we're skipping around the issue, but Black Lightning, when he is in control of his senses, saves a copy of The Origin of Species.
Mm.
And then by the time when we're doing the book burning at the end of the book, the issue, that's the book he burns, and it's just like, themes.
That is a really great detail. I actually didn't notice that. That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, It just, again, anti-science, fascism and anti-science going hand in hand.
Yeah.
Lies upon lies.
Basically telling people to stop thinking, just go with conformity, conform.
Fire needs no teacher. Flame needs no introduction.
Mm-hmm.
Anti-life justifies my ignorance.
Oh,
I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards.
Seriously, it's just like, no, these are things that they just straight up say throughout the story. It's just it's awesome. I love it.
I mean, here's the terrible problem though. There are people who are going to who might read this and still not get it, like still not take away that just the obvious text.
Yeah, I mean at that point, that's on them. At that point, honestly,
yeah, that's on them. It is literally hitting you over the head with what it is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Do
I just like being hit over the head with anti-fascist?
I don't know what you do in your free time is what you do in your free time is up to you. You don't have to admit to anything.
I mean, I like hitting you over the head, Jacob. But that's entirely beside the point. Let's talk about Final Crisis number 4. First off, this is my favorite cover of the main Final Crisis issues. I love the Dark Side cover. It's really cool.
I think that's literally the image. Anything if like an article uses an image of Darkseid, it's that.
Yeah, it's oh god, it's such a great cover. I fucking love it. Isn't that also what they use for the Omni?
I was gonna say I think it's used on the Omni.
Yeah.
I don't know the Omni. Why am I looking up?
That sounds right. But anyway, this is Darkseid Says, and this is where more people get added onto the artist list, and this is when J.G. Jones starts spreading himself a little thin.
Just a little thin, yeah.
I think it's less noticeable in this issue.
Yeah.
It honestly, for me, it only became really noticeable in the last issue where there was no Jones. It's all Doug Bank because they needed to get this thing out.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Also, I think because we just talked about Superman Beyond not that long ago, and Doug Bank taking over the last issue kind of makes sense considering how much the last issue follows up on Superman Beyond.
So, yeah, it's a lot. So.
Yeah. So anyway, the anti-life equation is out, and it is getting everyone. It is all over the place.
We get a great cameo from one of the most important institutions in the world, the London Underground.
Just people all over the world submitting
10 out of 10 comic for that alone.
God damn it. But yeah, we have the Tattooed Man arriving at the Hall of Justice to tell the Justice League about what happened to Black Lightning. He's put face to face with Green Arrow.
Mainly because there are some people who are just immune to the anti-life equation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because there are, thematically, there are going to be people who are going to resist fascism and fascist take.
And and you can see that in like the characters that are chosen. Like Oliver Queen is one of the headliners in that category. Like it's great. I really love that.
Another one is Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
A disabled character.
Yeah, I mean it's really subtle what this is going for.
But
also, I can't remember if the Ray at this point is LGBT plus. I can't remember. I know he is in the CW show.
Yeah, I don't think so at this point. Honestly,
it might just be the CW adaptation is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. But we didn't get to see some more of the ruin that the anti-life equation and Diana in particular, her and the female Furies are able to the destruction that they brought on a lot of the world. As we flash back and forth between that and Darkseid's lair and our various new gods and followers of Darkseid.
Kalibak is given a new body as a tiger man.
I love it. I love it.
And the idea is that, partially continuing the theme of sort of breaking the narrative, the new body for Darkseid is going to be Dan Turpin.
Yeah.
Our Jack Kirby is going to have to represent everything that is anti-Jack Kirby.
Yeah. Oh, God. It's great. But yeah, back at the Hall of Justice, Tattooed Man is telling everyone what happened to Black Lightning, and we are sort of like just regrouping from the unleashing of the anti-life equation. We see Hawkgirl fighting some of these anti-life soldiers.
Here it is. I remember it now. The panel of who's like still standing. It almost feels like a X-Men Days of Future Past.
Oh, it does. Yeah, very, very much looks.
And
like
I love the little details. But you got the MIA, Superman, and the Earth 2 Superman are under Hal Jordan.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's Earth 2 Superman. Yeah,
we have all of our Green Lanterns are off-world.
Also, I didn't notice this while reading. I've just picked up on it. Uncle Sam, corrupted.
I love it.
Subtle.
I love it. It's great. But yeah, Alan Scott then sort of like steps up as sort of the leader of this whole group, which I really love. Alan Scott really gets a great moment to shine here. And a lot of this is like Morrison. We've talked a lot about like Morrison commenting on stories, but and like the nature of good versus evil. But like Alan Scott sort of standing up as this sort
of the representative of the golden age of heroes, like
and to be all that is good right now, and essentially like Alan Scott doesn't like come up with any sort of grand plan or anything. It's essentially just a pep talk that Alan Scott delivers here.
It is rallying the troops. It is it's like, I don't know how we're going to fight, but we are going to fight this to our dying breath, because if we don't, there's no point in living.
Yeah. Great moment.
Oh.
But yeah, then we have Wally and Barry together again,
reuniting, where we're getting a lot of commentary on the Silver Age of heroes, of the creation of hero families. And the utter darkness that is the female Furies, because, oh my god.
There's such a vibe. I love it.
It works. The choices, I mean, like...
It's meant to look ridiculous and edgy, and it works because of that.
That might be the dark age of comics. That might be what Morrison's going for, with heroes turning evil. And then... sprinkled throughout all of this entire story is just all fantastic character moments. Like, there's this scene in the Hall of Justice where it's like, we've got to run, and Ollie's going to sacrifice himself just to, it's like,
Who else would do it? Come on. He's selfless. Come on.
Yeah.
Also, just, I'll use the
anti-life, bro.
Great line. I love that. Black Canary and our other heroes here, Tattooed Man and everyone, they get transported up to the Watchtower. We then have Darkseid and his servants sort of like watching over the entire situation as like Barry,
as Dan Turpin is like, not through any dialogue, but visibly is just slowly slipping away.
Oh yeah.
Like,
you
very much
that it is just Darkseid at that point. Like it's great.
And then we see the world outside as a giant mix of fascism and the capitalist need to produce and work and consume and die. that anti-life makes it right. All is one. Self equals dark side.
We think of this great scene where Barry and Iris are reunited. I love that scene so much.
Specifically to juxtapose the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally love defeating fascism. Like, I can't argue with how good it's done, though.
Yeah, it's seriously, like, if anyone can pull off the power of love trope to finish off a story, it's Grant fucking Morrison. I mean, come on.
Certain writers wouldn't pull this off well.
Yeah,
I'm not going to name names.
You're not going to name names.
You can make another Doctor Who reference. That's fine. Go right ahead.
That's fine.
I know. I won't say that the writer's name rhymes with me than Moffat.
You didn't even change Moffat. You just said Moffat. You just said Moffat.
You don't know who it could be.
And we end the issue with Turpin giving in.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Turpin is dark side. Taking us to Final Crisis number 4 into Oblivion.
5.
Or 5, yes. I meant to say
5.
I meant to say 5. But we have Hal Jordan brought before the Guardians. We have Guy Gardner and Kyle Rayner standing up for him.
Basically being able to be like, hey, my boy is innocent. Stop this shit.
Yeah, how will him do this?
Yeah, it is.
Well, I do like this again.
I do like that Morrison, once again, understanding the intelligence of their audience, understands that, like, it wouldn't be hard, I think, to disprove Kraken not being an Alpha Lantern, being an Alpha Lantern, I should say, or being Granny Goodness. So like that plotline is resolved essentially in the first, like, 3-4 pages of this issue, and it's fine. It's not a bad thing.
It's great. Morrison is also very much being like, I love the Manhunters.
Mm-hmm.
I can't use the Manhunters, but the Alpha Lanterns are basically Manhunters 2.0.
They're totally Manhunters, yeah.
Like, it's what they are.
Their catchphrases and Tomasi stuff is literally no Green Lantern escapes the Alpha Lanterns. It's great.
And of course, because Hal Jordan, Hal being a badass who can beat the impossible odds, Depowered Rings breaks his fucking chains, and we start to fight.
Yeah.
Come on.
The Guardians are basically like, we're going to clear you of all charges. Do you now go save the universe?
Hal's given back his ring, and we cut then over to, where do we cut?
Checkmate.
Oh God, that's
Checkmate.
Right, Jacob. Checkmate.
It's a thing.
Checkmate's here. Aren't you glad I had you read the Janus Directive?
Hey, I have a feeling that Checkmate is very different in the early 2000s than it was in the late 80s.
Absolutely correct about that. But yeah, we have Checkmate. We have Checkmate, and we they're building these sort of like Manhunters here.
Mainly to, like, fight when for the inevitable of the superheroes having failed.
We have, once again, Wonder Woman being part of Furies. We see her sort of like riding out with the Furies to cause more destruction.
Not a lot is being stuck, but it starts to imply that, like, there's a tiny little bit of Diana still in there. Just tiny hints. Pauses before she puts on the mask.
Yeah, you can see a full panel there before she puts that on. It's great. And I also like that when she is taken over by the Equation and when she is one of the Furies, like, you never see Diana's actual face.
Because you can't.
Even when she's not wearing the mask, you can't imagine what that is like. I love that.
No, because that's a Wonder Woman without compassion, which is something that is wrong for the character.
Yeah, it makes it a small visual cue of, like, oh no, we can associate that not as Wonder Woman because you don't see her face. You cannot imagine Wonder Woman without compassion. It's great. I love that idea. But
Godfrey and the other one kissing Darkseid's feet.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Mainly because they want to be Darkseid's right-hand man, and Darkseid won't have a right-hand man.
We then get a bunch of fighting. Essentially, it's just a bunch of heroes versus our anti-life bitches. that goes on for a couple pages.
Basically, it is basically it's holding the line and starting to bring our different groups of heroes back together. Including Mr. Miracle. We have Calipak and his armies coming down to Bloodhaven to fight. Essentially, our group of heroes who are going to hold the fucking line.
Hey, look, it's Black Adam.
Suspiciously less like Dwayne the Rock in this. And even G.I. Robot.
It's true, yeah, we do. I forgot we had G.I. Robot here. Yeah,
so many good cameos. There's so many characters I recognize.
Right. It's lovely. But our fighting begins. We have Mary Marvel here, part of the fight.
We have Captain Marvel being the one who's going to show compassion and is like, you can't kill Mary Marvel, like she's not herself.
Yeah.
Interestingly, like it's like I saw a leering old man in her eyes, which is such a fascinating little commentary, I'd argue, on this. When we make our female characters evil, they become sexy. Like,
you
can kind of read that as seeing.
That would fit with Mary being. That would fit with Mary being the 90s stand-in.
Yeah. Essentially commenting on what is essentially the male gaze there. Like it's great. We then have Wotan once again trying, sort of still lamenting his time as a monitor.
Lamenting and sort of falling into the trap of, my God, at Wotan's core, he's an artist, he's a creative, and he thinks my creations are fucking useless. And then one of his drawings, he sees Superman, and that allows an impossible thing to happen. A Rubik's Cube is solved in 17 moves. So, like,
we've nearly completely broken everything.
Yeah.
Yes, an impossible thing has happened. That means, and it basically means that something impossible's happened. Something new is born. We see the universe. This is sort of the point where the tide of battle is going to be able to start turning.
Yeah. So we follow up more on more of our heroes fighting off our villains. We have Darkseid here betraying his followers, and sort of like he's just like all is one in Darkseid. He can be the only one there.
He wants to be the multiverse. He wants to be existence itself.
And shock, even if you are useful to fascism, eventually that runs out.
Yeah.
I never thought the leopards would eat my face.
You guys should watch Andor. Actually, Kian, have you seen Andor? You might have.
I've seen I struggled with the first 6 episodes, and then I should give it another go.
Come on, you should. It's so good.
I will probably restart it.
You should, honestly.
I think what really took me out of it was like one of the Imperials was just the General Slovene.
Was it really?
Yeah, I recognised the voice, and I was like, "This is taking me out of this."
I don't remember that at all. Huh. All right then.
The Colonel. I can't remember the actor's name, but it took me out of
the guy in the second arc on Aldani?
Maybe it was just like a major Imperial, but he was literally, I can't think the actor's name, but the Slovene that takes over the Major and the General's body.
Yeah.
That really took me out of it.
All right then. I guess I can see how that could be distracting. I guess.
Anyway, so the important thing is that we're getting towards Earth's darkest hour. Like, Darkseid has this whole rant about how he is the new god. Like, his body is his church, and when he speaks with the voice of 3 billion, with 3 billion hands, 6 billion eyes. Mind you, the implication, he only takes over about half of Earth. He doesn't even get a majority of Earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
something. The Nazis didn't have majority votes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Nixodon realizes who he is. The impossibility has happened. The tides have turned, and Darkseid doesn't even realize it.
Yes. Then we go into our 2 tie-ins, our Batman tie-ins. Like I said, we've already covered these on our Batman RIP episode. But I guess since we had a guest here that wasn't here when we covered RIP, anything to add to the conversation, Kian, on these issues?
I think you covered it. Like it's a great look at Batman's history.
Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, man, like I still love. I'm gonna do it anyway. I know I did it last time when we covered RIP, but I fucking love the last line so much. It's perfect. Alfred, he said not long ago, if anyone ever asks for an obituary, tell them Batman's big secret was the classic whodunit. Only it's not about who killed Batman, but who kept him alive all these years. And he stopped there, leaving the rest to me. The whereabouts of Batman remain unknown, and yet I can see him now, in the grip of implacable forces, innumerable foes, somewhere without hope, in a place where all seems lost, and I know this. The enemy will look away for just a moment, underestimating him for that single fraction of a second too long, and no matter how dark the night, there will be no hiding place for evil. Batman encapsulated, just like succinct.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good.
Again, Morrison is my favorite Batman writer for a reason.
That's fair. That's a fair take.
So we have to break narrative causality one last time in Final Crisis number 6, guys.
Yeah, Final Crisis number 6. How to murder the Earth.
This feels a bit Deus Ex Machina.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know if it is the right phrasing, but it is literally Superman will see a machine for essentially a moment and be able to memorize the entire machine. I guess it's because he's Superman.
I can see that.
So Kian, I need to ask you. Do you know what Deus Ex Machina means?
I know it's God from the machine.
Yes.
But I know it gets used to describe when something happens very convenient at the last moment.
Kian is so close to getting it, but he can't see it.
I know this is the deliberate thing, and this is
deliberately. So the miracle machine is the pen.
Yeah.
It is the pen of the writer that's going to fix the story. It is going to allow us to create stories again. That is what Morrison is doing.
I know that is the purpose, but I can see why that would be why people dislike this story.
Sure. If they haven't then been paying attention to the last several hundred pages, but okay. I love it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I also know people who don't love metatext, this kind of metatext in stories, and that's a reasonable thing to think. That's fine, But like, I wouldn't yell at them for like misinterpreting the text. They know what's happening. They just don't like it,
I guess, but no, I think it's brilliant. I think Morrison's it's brilliant.
Great. Oh yeah, it's great. Obviously,
it's great. It's just it is a literal, and I know it is deliberately doing this, but it I don't know. That's like my one thing where I'm like, you might have gone a little too far.
Interesting. But yeah, so the Miracle Machine. It's gonna be important later because we still have the heroes holding the line in the present. And we are slowly building to herald the return of Superman and the fight with Mary Marvel and Tawny Tiger, aka Talkie Tiger, because
we love
Morrison
would. We love Tawny. Come on, you have to love Tawny.
Who doesn't want like a sentient talking tiger?
Specifically to fight our evil tiger that is Calabac.
Yes, it's amazing.
It's great. It's great. And as all hope seems lost, we somehow get the word said to change Mary Marvel back. And Mary and Billy are just sitting as a family among the rubble.
It's not Billy.
Oh, it's not Billy. No, that's Freddy.
Yeah, it's Freddy, yeah.
Right, because Billy's... the history of Shazam / Captain Marvel is so weird.
Insanity. Oh yeah. Tawny stands among these other Tiger people. Calabac defeated, literally gutted. We have our other heroes sitting behind this the fort as the anti-life infected people begin climbing the wall.
Also, this idea of a letter symbolizing the resistance and literally writing being what can like protect you from anti-life. Quite literally, writing representing thinking for oneself. It's so good.
We have our Furies attacking. Essentially, this is the moment where all needs to seem lost because our Mr. Miracle and his team are surrounded. Black Canary, Tattooed Man, they're all surrounded. Everything is lost in this moment, and even Lex Luthor seems taken aback by all this. Like he just we have Lex broken.
Nothing left.
Yeah, there's nothing left. All hope literally needs to be lost. And so, what can stand up to this?
First, the important thing to set up is we have 3 Flashes beginning to run, to do basically one final run. It's going to be important later.
Yep.
Because again, this entire theme of this issue is family being important, like more than any other. It's what saves Mary Marvel. It's what allows the 3 Flashes to run together.
Family.
And then we have Batman.
I mean, the most important part of this story, literally.
Yeah, actually, I'm surprised we didn't bring this up in the non-spoiler section because we can in every single republished version of Final Crisis, almost every single one. The death of Batman is shown right on the cover. It's the thing that you're supposed to know is going to happen in this story. Morrison is always very upfront that this is going to happen.
Batman, the man who's trying to be a god, who's trying to compete with gods, is the man who delivers the final opening to defeat the god. It's so crucial. It's so perfect with the theme, like how one man can stand up to this ideology.
Yeah. And also, of course, we have Batman with a gun. We have this this break in narrative causality. This
is where the narrative breaks completely.
Yeah, because Morrison sells the idea once again that this entire story feels wrong because the universe is wrong. Something is out of place. So Batman breaks this. Batman shoots Darkseid as Darkseid shoots him with his Omega beams, killing Batman.
Yeah, Batman's dead.
Batman's dead. Yeah. Yes, definitely 100% dead.
Definitely dead. I mean,
yes, definitely gone. No way he can come back.
Let's not get to the end of this comic yet.
I mean, here's the thing. Continuing with the theme of then being able to take and fix the narrative, because Batman breaks the narrative.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, here's the thing. We're still in the broken narrative. Batman is dead. When the narrative is fixed, and when the narrative is fixed, and the nature of comics, I would say, the nature of comics resumes, that is when Batman is back.
I'd also argue it works because the only person who can fix the narrative is Superman.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want Batman to be dead?
Yes.
He's not going to kill his best friend. Not let his best friend be dead. No.
Of course.
Yeah, he'll let Martian Manhunter die.
Superman comes raging through the multiverse here, smashing through every single thing in his path, all so he can go find his friend. Let me get this gorgeous last panel. Drawn by Doug. This is definitely a Doug Mank drawing at the end here.
You can tell by the way Superman's drawn.
Yeah. Batman is dead. Just straight up. We go into our final issue, Final Crisis number 7. New Heaven, New Earth. Doug Mank is the sole penciler on this issue.
Ton of inkers.
It's so many inkers. I honestly don't think the Doug Mank thing is a bad thing. Like I said, I see this last issue as a lot of follow-up to Superman Beyond, so it feels kind of natural to me, at least. But I don't know. To each their own. Hey, Jacob, remember reading Action Comics?
Yeah! I was like, oh hi!
Hi.
It's Obama.
Hi, President Superman.
It's Obama.
Kian, have you read Morrison's Action Comics run?
No, but I'm aware of Obama Superman because of Multiversity.
he is Calvin Ellis is a great character. Like,
yeah, I know, it's Obama Superman.
My God,
it is more than that meme. Anyway,
I know, but it's hard not to make the name.
We start mainly by showing, the multiverse slowly trying to put it together using the introduction of Calvin Ellis and that universe's Wonder Woman.
As well as essentially that Watchmen lineup that we talked about before, which I think is great.
Yes.
I like, yeah. Superman is we are working to put the universe back together. Superman with Batman's dead body. Oh no, sorry, sorry. Darkseid didn't die there. Batman tried to shoot him. We have Darkseid versus Superman here. We have Superman taken aback, stopped in his tracks by realizing that
basically
body has been used for Darkseid.
The whole idea is that, all right, cool, fine, to let the good guys win. Yeah, you have to do a truly evil act. You have to kill Dan Turpin.
Mm-hmm.
And
Superman
basically
won't do
it means Superman can't be Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So the Flashes are running. Also, it's very important that the implication is that there's also a bullet that still has to be fired to go back in time to kill Orion to start this whole thing, this whole closed loop of a story. Because if evil wins, the story kind of just can't progress anymore. So the three Flashes physically run through Darkseid, and the implication is that it expels him from Dan Turpin's body.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And that is how we're going to win, or at least this thing. Because let's be honest, this issue gets really weird, and I don't know if I entirely get the conclusion.
Oh, that's fair. That's totally fair. We can describe the images we see in our books here. Essentially, everyone begins banding together because Turpin is separated from Darkseid, and thus
Turpin is separated from Darkseid, and Superman is back. So whatever's happening is failing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of little subplots, including the Brother Eye subplot with Checkmate, because that was
that's in there somewhere.
A teeny tiny little subplot. It's important, but it's just there's so much in this book we physically cannot talk about it all.
We also have Nazi Superman finding dead Nazi Supergirl, and we parallel Infinite Earths with the Nazi Superman and Supergirl together, which is kind of fun. We have Diana still as one of the Furies, and Superman taking showing Dan Turpin to the first Lex is leading the charge against these anti-life soldiers and the Furies, as well as Superman having Turpin here, sort of showing that the anti-life equation is that the bonding with Darkseid is broken.
Crucially, we find Diana free.
Yeah, Diana is free.
There's a little bit more of compassion and hope injected back in to the story.
Yeah. We have Superman singing a song. There's a speech bubble with music notes coming out of Superman's mouth, which is just funny.
I sang a song and Darkseid went away.
Yeah, that's exactly it. With the line there, Darkseid always hated music, which I love that as well.
Fascism not appreciating music. Subtle.
Subtle, very subtle, incredibly subtle.
Well, there's also very much part of the idea of that, like, is there something like, I think there's some creation myth that involved like the world being sung into existence.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
probably. There's a lot of creation myths.
Yes, there's a lot.
Some of them were made by aliens.
But we then have Superman face to face with Mandrak one last time, before essentially setting off with what has been brought together, which is a multiversal army of Supermen, and also various Captain Marvels, in order to
because they're all Supermen too.
They are, yeah. To put the universe back together, and that is what we do. It is Morrison once again saying Superman is the story. This is a story about stories, and Superman is a story. So therefore, every Superman in existence being here is representative of those stories binding the universe. It's cool. It's a great idea. We have our army of Supermen and other heroes fighting Mandrak as our sort of final confrontation here. I like our army of Green Lanterns here as well, banding together. I love that.
Yeah, one last little bit of light.
Yeah. And then the day is saved. To put it in simple terms, as we begin sort of wrapping up with showing the universe back in place, the Daily Planet.
Earth 51 is reborn.
Our monitors are sort of like, recapping this whole ending here.
The new gods are restored.
Ubotan is back with the monitors because Earth 51 is reborn. And in Ubotan saying goodbye to being reunited with Ouija Del, Ouija is given the same treatment that Ubotan was, in that she, or am I right about that? No, yeah. Sorry, no. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. She winds up as a human as well at the end here,
mainly to begin another story.
Yeah, and then we have our little epilogue here. Jacob, we're not going to get back to this to this particular plotline for a while, so I want to know what you think this is.
I mean, this is how Bruce is not dead, right? Like,
well, I mean, of course we're implying,
but how is he not dead? Like, what's happened to him is what he's asking.
He's been sent back to the beginning of history, I think, to the beginning of the story, because in the book Batman, like, he's at the end of we are at the end of the story. Like, that's the point, is that the story has ended, so we're now back to the beginning.
It's also about to get fucking wild when we do eventually read the miniseries Return of Bruce Wayne.
I was gonna say we still have to do Battle for the Cowl.
Here's the thing. We have Battle for the Cowl, 2 volumes of Batman and Robin, and then Return of Bruce Wayne. So
we've got some time.
We're not going to get back to him for a while.
So. I also have a feeling. You can give me a yes or no answer to this, or refuse to answer. I don't think we're doing more Morrison Batman after Battle for the Cowl. If we were,
you were correct about that. Yeah.
You would have told me. You would have told me we're doing.
Yeah. I would have revealed the rest of the Morrison stuff in this run. We're next time we're just doing Battle for the Cowl, and that is where we're ending our Morrison stuff for the time being. Even though Battle for the Cowl is not Morrison, it's Tony.
It's not Morrison, but it's also we don't want to start the second Morrison army yet.
Yeah, it's very much part of the run, though. Like it is a.
You get some great stuff in that second, like in that Batman and Robin arc, though.
I mean, here's the thing.
Here's the thing of like the 3 Omnis, which is sort of like how I look at like the 3 phases of the Morrison Batman run. Like Omni 2, the Batman and Robin stuff, is my personal favorite.
Oh, that's good. That's so interesting.
I cannot wait to get to that.
Because here's the thing with Battle for the Cowl, I'm already going with the expectation that Daniel was in contact with Morrison. He was the artist on R.I.P.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, they were very much in sync, and you can see bits of what Morrison was setting up in Battle for the Cowl.
I think there is a very crucial part of that will again be crucial in the Morrison run that is set up in Battle for the Cowl.
Yeah. All that said, that was Final Crisis. Holy shit, you guys!
So The only downside is I don't think I can give this book a perfect 10 out of 10.
Ooh, okay. I'm curious as to why.
I think some of it might just be I need to reread. I need to sit with it.
Yeah, let it sink in. I don't give it a 10 out of 10 personally. It's like a 9. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like it's a 9.
Yeah.
It's very good.
I think honestly the 1 point less than a 10 for me may just be because of how dense the thing is. Like it is there's so much going on. And it's not a bad thing. You can interpret it easily, but it is a thick text for a comic, and it is a lot to take in. So
yeah, I mean,
it's quite word heavy at times.
Oh yeah, totally. The only one that isn't is like the Submit one shot. So all that said, though, I think that does it for Final Crisis. Obviously no adapted material today because, God, I would love to see the mad bastard that tries to adapt Final Crisis.
I'll get on it.
I know. But all that said, I think we can start closing things out. First off, any final thoughts on Final Crisis? Any final things we wanted to get in?
It's amazing. It's great. Grant Morrison's one of my favorite writers. Just
it's mental.
It's mental.
Just I would recommend if anyone wants a really good experience of Big Brain, do a double bill of read this and then watch Ghostlight.
Oh man. This might be this might be one of our most Doctor Who reference heavy episodes. So
just see what you understand more.
Yeah. I think we'll start closing things out. Let's do some promotions. Kian, what do you have going on?
I don't know. Follow my TikTok or something. I'll post cosplays on there.
If there's anything. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't use TikTok. But cool.
Also, you're on Blue Sky, Kian.
You're on Blue Sky.
You're on Blue Sky.
Yeah, but I don't say much on there.
That's fair.
I spend more time occasional argument on the other place.
You really should get off the other place.
Get off the other place, please. Just get off the other place.
Yeah, but it's like basically my only place to get convention news.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, Jacob, what do you have going on right now?
So, big thing I have on right now is my blog. I have reviewed, by the time this is coming out, I've reviewed at least one Star Wars High Republic book recently. Maybe another one, depending on, I don't know how long it takes. Joey and I do these book exchanges, and I don't know how long it's going to take for Joey to get through the second one. If you want my opinion on a High Republic audio drama, though, check out my Blue Sky, because I'm definitely including that in my big audio listening thread.
True. Hey, how far are you in that right now?
Middle of part 2.
Okay, cool.
It's very good. It's a bit odd because there's definitely a style of recording and direction that I'm not used to being
Audible Audible audio dramas are very different from our Big Finish audio dramas.
Our Big Finish and just the British Dirk Maggs style of doing things. Because
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I'm only used to audio books on Audible.
Yeah, they do audio dramas every now and then, and most of them are pretty good.
Again, sometimes they get Dirk Maggs to direct them, and those are always amazing because Dirk Maggs knows what he's doing. I've also been probably doing some Doctor Who book reviews between now and then, based on where I'm at least one. I've also been reviewing Star Trek: The Next Generation for the first time. At the time this coming out, I will have just posted a review on Loud as a Whisper, which I don't know, might be good, might be bad. Haven't watched it yet.
It's a mixed bag, leaning more towards good. So
okay.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. Yeah. I as well. I am also reviewing Star Trek: The Next Generation with my brother. We're doing video reviews on Blooded Studios, obviously. Loud as a Whisper is out, and what is episode 6? I now count.
The Schizoid Man.
Oh no! If you really want, by going to the Patreon, the Blood Studios Patreon, joining it either the Ensign tier or the Lieutenant tier to get that video early. Also, if you join the Patreon for Blood Studios, you can get all kinds of fun things that I've already mentioned. My brother are going through the original series again, and that's been a lot of fun. We're also putting out Fresh Face Extras, the episode of Fresh Face Comics. It is lots of fun. My God, I love that when launching Fresh Face Extras, we have had a bunch of episodes in a row with guests on, and so I think that's just making those conversations all the more fun. So if you're not listening to those, you can preview those conversations. If you go on our Patreon, you can preview, listen to I think the first 30 to 60 seconds of Fresh Face Extras. If you're interested in, you can listen to the preview, and then if you like it, you can go to the Patreon and subscribe and listen to the whole thing, and it's good fun. I think either Superman Dawn of Justice with me, Jacob, and Mason. It was wild. I got very drunk, as is the commentary way. And I think that R2BD. Me and my brother do R2BD. We talk about Star Wars things. Recently we talked about Andor Season 2, and next we're talking about a book called Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray. So lots of fun things coming up with that. And also Fresh Face One Shots, the spin-off of Fresh Face Comics, where we talk about current comics that are coming out. We talk about Superman by Joshua Williamson, Wonder Woman by Tom King, Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, The End of the Long Halloween Saga, as well as The Uncanny X-Men by Fresh Face Comics fan Gail Simone. I think that about it for today. Thank you all so much for listening. We're sure to leave a rating, subscribe, comment. If whatever you comment on, we will read them out on Fresh Face Correspondence when I remember to do that segment. So thank you all so much for listening. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan,
Jacob Licklider,
in the Quag.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.